Good morning, good morning, good morning, my neighbors. Welcome to another episode of BYTTT. I am your host, JD the Great. By all means, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button down below. That way you can go ahead and get the information. Also, I have my Instagram and Twitter down below as well. Go ahead and follow me. Sometimes I drop some really, really good gems in there. I should have dropped this gem, but those that follow BYTTT and actually watch the show, you'll know, yeah, if you know, you know, right? And then also, if you don't have a trading community, we have a great trading community over at Cheat Code. I teach the futures floor, and yeah, come on, chime in with us, have some fun, make some money, and we all have our quirks and perks. You know what I'm saying? Not every day is gonna be super positive, but yesterday was a lot of fun. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the chart. All right. And oh, not Google. We'll get back to Google very soon because that's going to be part of the conversation. Let me go ahead and minimize that. Let's go ahead and actually not yet. Let me get all this. Do you see what is happening here? Are y'all, for those that are chartists, those that are very analytical and everything else? Do you see what's happening here? You got NQ that's dropping. You got the Russell that was powering itself up, so it's starting to detach itself from the Russell. The British pound is starting to detach. Oil has been trying to get above $80 this whole entire time. It's failing. Gold got contract expiration, but they know they have to fill the voids. All this stuff is happening all at once. Look at natural gas. Look at that void that they need to fill. Like, there is so much storylines that's going on with the industry right now. So let me go ahead and put on my theme music, have this thing going as we go deep into the charts. All right, so the first day we're gonna go ahead and start talking about, we're gonna talk about NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, you already know I love my NASDAQ, nasty Nas, however way you want to call it, but at the end of the day, I call it beautiful Nas because it does its thing. All right, there's so much volatility there. If you are patient and you actually follow some of your trading plans, you should be able to generate a good size of income. So it's a really fun ticker to play. So if you haven't traded futures, you probably played it on QQQ and stocks and options, or you probably played it on NAS 100 on Forex. But either way, its volatility is opportunity for you to make money. So let's go ahead and look deep into the chart, and you'll see I drew some of the imbalances that was there. I believe I did this one as a daily imbalance. Let me take a peek. Yep, daily imbalance. So now we're inside of the daily imbalance, and this daily imbalance is basically letting us know that the market is starting to realize that we're toppy, right? There's some balance above here. There's probably some pressure being pushed here where we're trying to sell and get through this 17,500 level. What's that, 700, right? But when it's all said and done, the market is probably going to try to get to this 50% mark. I'm thinking maybe by the end of the day to see if the buyers are still here, and I think the buyers are like, the only way I'm going to step in is if I get a good discount, and I think this will be a good area. So look out for the level of 17,285, especially with the daily pointing straight down. We go to the 4-hour. We are putting some pressure here, right? We may need a retracement just to see if we can get some new friends to go ahead and sell off again. We are below the 50 EMA there. And in the 1-hour, we're probably going to flirt with a death cross. Of course, we got the oscillators pointing up, so you could get a nice little push up. But the Asian session with the London session has put pressure, especially after the overnight session. We try to hold this position, and I think it was Google. Oh, one of them. They pretty much put a lot of weight on the market coming down because, we're in the middle of earnings season and it's all about the earnings now, right? So we had the Santa rally. Everybody prepared for their earnings, right? They were like, they got in their position. And if you're not going to have good numbers, guess what? I'm going to take my profits because I've been in since Christmas. That's what the market's reacting to right now. So that said, NASDAQ does look like it's starting to show a little bit of weakness, taking out imbalances. There's a nice imbalance here. I do believe we have a nice little order block that we're going to go ahead and test, which is this area right here. Put that as main. So there's going to be a nice little order block that's going to be tested here. We haven't even scratched the surface of it. So we have a couple things that's popping up. Actually, you know what? Let me grab the news. Where are you? I thought I had it open, but maybe I don't. Okay, so let me just open another one. So I use my FX books. No, they do not pay me, but I just love the colors in it, and I feel like at the end of the day it's easy to understand, easy to read, and that's what I started off on. And if we go to my FX book, you'll see that we got inflation rates for Europe. That's coming in. That's going to be at 8 o'clock, so that's going to drive a little bit of noise that way. ADP unemployment, this is just to get an idea of what employment is, but the true one is going to be the non-farm payrolls, which is going to be, I think it's Friday we're going to get the non-farm payrolls. Oh, we get Fed interest rate decision. That's going to play a part. Press conference at 2:30. So, you know, everybody's going to react to this one. 17-week bill auction. That's going to make some noise. That's going to be at 11:30. Crude oil. So those that's playing oil, if this oil inventory shows any adverse reaction whatsoever, you're probably going to see oil start to dump because it has been pushing up. But we'll see if they overstock on oil. That will drive price down. And then we got PMI from Chicago. This one is a medium, so this one usually has a little bit of effect to the market, other than unemployment, employment costs and everything else. But I would say this one may be a little bit, because if this is actually bearish for their dollar, it should make our dollar a little bit bullish. But and this one is going to give us a little bit insight to what non-farm payrolls should be when it's all said and done. So I would say just be cautious in the market today as we get into it, and we should see NQ react to it, especially being inside of the imbalance that's there. All right, so let's go ahead and move this on. Next one we're going to talk about, which is what I just brought up a little bit earlier, was oil. Oil is looking like this at this point. Wanted to get it really tried to power up, right? It really tried to power up, had a nice little uptrend using the 50 EMA as an up area, but you could see we keep flirting with coming under it, so there's a couple things that can happen. Is this a bull flag and start to break out, or is this a failure swing and we're going to break down and come back through some of these imbalances? Let's look deep into the chart. So you could kind of see with the auto fibs being placed there, we're having trouble just keeping the auto fibs green. We keep rejecting, especially when this spike up that happened on January 24th, on the 24th, where we kind of like got to this level looking like we're going to go ahead and get up way deep into that $80 mark, and we failed to do that. It looks like 78.83 is what's holding us down when it's all said and done. So now that we're under this level, I love how cheat code has this downward trend line. If you don't have the cheat code algo, I do suggest you check it out. I'll post the link inside the chat later. But if we look deep into this, you'll see, boom, that's a nice little downward trend using these 2 points, right? But it's still a potential downtrend, so I always do this for my potential downtrends. There it is, potential downtrend, which lets me know that this is not official. We are trying to make lower lows, but until we break this level, I'm not going to hold this uptrend to its standard, which would be lower low, maybe retrace into it, and then we just start to really dump. That will be the third touch. So I would say right now, the way oil is putting this doji here, and it's failing to even try to take out the doji, I think there's a big old order block sitting right here to short it if they even try to come here. So I don't think oil is going to get across $79 anytime soon without getting some real strength down below. Yeah, they broke this trend here. So, oops, wrong button. There was this trend right here that I put that started from this point. Let me minimize this. And hold on, I got my screen's a little quirky right now. There we go. So it looks like whatever uptrend we had here, it's done. I could extend this as far as I want to, but when they wick this, they try to hold it here roughly yesterday, and then they couldn't hold it. It sold off. Now the question is, what are they going to do with this imbalance? Here's our imbalance, roughly here. If it can't hold above here and try to really push, nice little upward trend trying to get there, I'm looking for this whole entire thing to relatively dump and get back into this bearish order block, maybe even test this wick back at 75.89. But, and this time this will be a second attempt, it probably would fail and get back to $75. But again, this is all speculative at this point, but you can see a lower low is all that's missing to make this downtrend line official after breaking a upward trend, an official upward trend that started all the way back in January 17. All right, let's go ahead and get into gold. Gold is looking pretty, but it looks pretty for more downside because we got contract expiration. I would love to see this fill this first before they try to go back up. If we do not feel this, and you know the funny thing about gold, what I kept to tell you about the level 2050 did not stay bullish, but we couldn't even hold and close above that 2050 level, right? So sorry, 2063, so we couldn't hold it, and look where it sold off right when I was going to get the confirmation, right when I was thinking about entry. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna see if they're going to retrace it a little bit because we had such a major move here. I was thinking maybe 50%, probably around here. But no, they took this whole entire thing out with a nice bearish engulfing. And right now, I would say, even though this is sitting on top of a bullish order block, I find it weak. I really do. Because I would love to see them rebalance this whole entire area for the contract expiration. If they can do that, that would be great. Because then I could get the momentum that I need. And this could reset the oscillator. Because whatever momentum that brings us down here, we should be in the oversold territory. Even if they only fill 50% of the void. Probably around here. That's still a good retracement for me to be able to take this back up to the upside. So keep in mind that, and we will go ahead and move on to the next one. Let's look at silver. Silver's been dragging gold all over the place, like, you know, like it's little brother or something. And I don't know if y'all remember what I did last time. I drew this line anticipating that we're going to come up to this level. And we get to this level, we're going to go ahead and spike right back down. But it looked like they're going to go deeper inside of the order block. So I'm thinking we're probably still going to get that action, but probably something a little bit further out, kind of like this into this area. Either way, at this point, it is an uptrend that broke when we made a higher high. What do we do when it makes a higher high? We go and move this to this point, right? That's our higher high. Oh, wait, hold on. It made another higher high right there. And now it is really this point right there. So now, what is silver doing? It's still on its uptrend. Yeah, slight deviations along the way, right? Because remember, this is our point. If I go straight fan mode, hold on. Let me tweak this and put this as official. Oops, not downtrend. Official uptrend. Right, so this is one deviation of that move, little parabolic. It needed a reset. Then you had this one right here where it looks like we kind of held that area. Actually, held it a little bit in this angle. So what ends up happening, we get rid of this bad boy, get rid of that. That's all it is. Because if we keep making higher highs, there has to be a higher low somewhere. And if that higher low is somewhere in the vicinity, you just keep on adjusting accordingly. Because if it's making higher highs can't exist unless there's a higher low. So that means the trend is still alive. All right. So just keep that in mind. So at this point, this is where it is sitting. And I think this higher high is being tested. This level right here. I think the bears are really trying to step in, especially with this wedging action that we're getting right here. But at the end of the day, we are going into this order block. I wonder if we're going to get to that 50% mark. We're so close to it. So close. Because if we can get 50% of that imbalance, that could be the rejection area that they want. And that's what we're holding here. So look for this to probably push up, especially this is pointing up. So silver could give you one more pop-up. Let's see what happens there. All right. British pound. British pound looks really interesting. Like I said, it's been very detached, and that's the part that annoys me, right? It's so detached from what the rest of the market. I was using this as almost like an indicator, and lately I kind of ignored it because it hasn't really hold its credence to the NQ. It might be working with ES. I don't know if there's any ES players out there, but see if the British pound is working for you for the ES. But I can tell you for NQ, it's been all over the place. I've been using more Russell than the as the 6B, which is British pound. So that said, British pound, nice little choppy, right? Actually, I might want to get rid of some of these lines. Actually, do I have anything? Yeah, I could get rid of this. So let's get rid of all these lines. I'm going to start all the way over with this one. So let's go ahead and zoom ourselves all the way out. Let's look at this daily. Nice chop right there. I'm looking at probably this bullish order block here. Not bullish order block, but bullish imbalance here. That's probably what's making us stay up where we are right now. It's sitting on top of bullish order blocks right here on the daily, but most of that momentum is here. We got a downtrend here that's trying to form, but it's only a potential downtrend. They haven't really got this into overbought territory, so they could just dump, but you could just see that it just will not get past the 50% mark of this. So there's an explosion that's going to happen on the British pound, and when that happens, the market is going to react to it a certain way, and we'll see exactly how that actually works out. Let's look at it in the 1 hour again. On the 1 hour, came back, filled some imbalances here. Most of the imbalances are filled here. There's a bearish imbalance that's here that looks like I don't think it's going to be tested anytime soon. Let's put that as bearish, and everything else is just relatively balanced. In a way, you could kind of call this balance, right? Because this kind of came up here. Nah, not really. I would say for the most part, it's really this and this. Yeah, so I would say that one, and that's probably the catalyst that led to this imbalance here. And we have yet to fill this in its entirety. This one is filled, that one is filled. So let's see what happens with this bullish one that we're forming right now, and see how that holds tomorrow when we review the British pound. We'll just call this bullish. All right, so looks like the level of 12671 is a tough area for us to break down. We've wicked this area the whole entire time. Warning star over here, tweezer bottoms over there, and we just are holding at this point. So just look out for that on the British pound. All right, so let's go ahead and keep this party going. Next one is natural gas. Natural gas looks really good. I like its base right here. I might play this when it finally figure out itself to start the gap. I just don't think it's going to fill the entire gap, but I'll take opportunities that present itself when it's all there. All right, so now 50 EMA is putting pressure on it, 200 EMA is putting pressure on it. We broke so many levels along the way. I'm going to start over lines. Let's get this all out the way. So now what I am looking at, yeah, possibly that. So we got ourselves, just use the ray. We're looking at that. That's your pressure. That's the one that's really large time A. Nope. I gotta really work on my templates. There we go. I want red. I don't even know why I call it large time. Like for real. Like I probably was working on my templates and getting everything lined up, and I don't know. Whatever the reason. Anyways, moving on. So nice little rejection of this area. I'm looking for whatever uptrend that happens. And let's just assume, right? Let's assume that this, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it because we're consolidated so tight. Let's just assume that this is the uptrend that they want, right? They're not going to let it get anywhere below this level. And uptrend, right? They're not going to let it get below this level. Let's just say that it plays this, takes out the 50 EMA, continues, and it's look, right? It's probably going to go ahead and stop somewhere around here, right? Assuming that that's the case, right? That should give us roughly about here. So that means a little more than 50%. So I'm going to key off on 2.373. That is the area that I'm looking for a rejection on natural gas. Now, the only way I would respect that is if this line never breaks. What do they have to do when it's all said and done? Let me put a trend line right here. They need to get rid of this upward trend line, and they're starting to do that. They need to take out this imbalance and start taking out that wick. They're going to have trouble with this bearish order block that they're sitting right under. But this is a nice little power up with a buy signal and everything else, look, making the stochastic look good, looking like a W, though, all of that, everything. Actually, you know what? Let me give you all the measured move. Just in case this W plays out, I'm not going to go with this one because this was actually lower. So I'm going to use this to the neckline, put this at the breakout. We're going to put a fib like that. We're going to go ahead and wrap that in a bow with a 50% retracement of the downward trend, which will bring us to 21.15. So basically, right at the edge of what should be the breakout into the gap. That's what I'm looking for natural gas. So we'll see how that holds up in a couple days. All right, so let's go ahead and keep this going. Russell, good old Russell. Russell has been my leading indicator. I have seen this thing try to hold this 2000 level. You can see what it did Tuesday. They recovered it really, really good. So now I'm looking for this rejection to kind of hold its pressure. And right now, NASDAQ is getting its butt whipped, trying to get above 400. So this is probably a nice little indicator letting us know that the Russell is probably going to be one of the first ones to fall. If this gets under 2008, you're probably going to see everything, including the NQ, start to fall. I don't see any real imbalance here, except over here, but it looks like it already filled it all the way back there. Filled that imbalance, so that imbalance. It looks like all imbalance. Everything is balanced. It is very balanced to me. That's what it looks like. Let's do 4 hours. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, look at that spike at 2 a.m. They're like, no mas. So if this thing makes a lower low, we're probably going to start trending down. Let me get rid of this one and put it over here. Extend it out. This could be the target. They're looking for somewhere around 1995. If we can get down to that level, you should see the rest of the market start to tank as well, and we'll see how that goes. Again, we're in earnings season. Earnings season can do all types of funky nuts. I remember when I first started trading, my first reaction to the market was like, oh my God, it's doing this, it's doing that, blah, blah, blah. Why is it doing that? And I just didn't know. But there's higher time frames, other elements, everything else. Because you got to remember, the market is a summation of a whole bunch of other people's ideas, and they're just imposing their will onto the market. It's up to you to find the consensus of the totality or the majority and staying with them. All right. So it's almost like, politics, go with the one that's winning, right? All right. So let's go ahead and get into the dollar. The dollar is trying. It is trying. I remember I told y'all about this a couple days ago. Actually, a couple days ago, I told y'all yesterday. I keep just telling y'all. Right now, it's going to be a battle because we left a little change on the table on that 1 hour. I do believe this imbalance needs to be filled in its totality to get back up into the level, because that level will make sure that everything is okay to start dumping to the south side. So I do believe we may get one more attempt to try to push to get the market up, which will make the dollar fall. But when they realize that they can't, then they're going to go ahead and power up and push to the upside. So bear with the market. I'm telling you this right now. The market is still going to be relatively choppy. It's going to be choppy because of the earnings season. You got to do your due diligence. Chart on a higher time frame. Look for A+ setups. If there's anything that you do, A+ setups. Try not to carry anything overnight, because there might be some earnings report that comes in and throws a Molotov cocktail into your whole entire trading idea and trading plan. There's so much catalyst in that regard. Okay, so that said, the dollar does look like it's trying to hold above this imbalance that I had drew, using it as an order block. I think I had this as a jambalaya rice order block, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, I think I probably did it as a jambalaya rice order block, where all these wicks and everything, and you can kind of see, because I drew it at this level. I didn't even extend it out. Normally I box it, but I do think I probably drew it because of that. And you can see we just keep revisiting it, and we have troubles getting through it, and then we just keep bouncing. So one of these is going to win. It's either the bulls or the bears. So look for the dollar right now to kind of cool down, maybe sit on top of this order block when the oscillator resets, and then it just powers up. Why is that? Well, the dollar on the daily has been trying to dump and get through. So I think they're looking for another level, aka the remainder of the imbalance from the 1 hour or maybe the order block that's sitting up here that's bearish. So they have not let this get into that oversold territory, which would make the market really rally. So I think they might just spike this up real quick up to some type of level around here, and then eventually just dump it all the way right back down again. So that said, just keep an eye on the dollar. All right, so let's go ahead and keep it moving. There's a couple things I wanted to point out, i.e. like what's going on with Google, right? So Google had decent earnings, right? They didn't lose any money, but unfortunately their guidance wasn't the greatest. So when you don't have good guidance, when you don't have good news to actually tell your shareholders, they're like, look, we're going to estimate that your worth is $1 or 122 and I'm going to take my profits now before I'm the one that's left holding this hot potato, right? So where does Google go from here? Let's start with trend lines. I love trend lines because trend lines gives you an idea of where they came from and where their intentions on going. The fastest direction to anything is a straight line. That's why I love trend lines. All right, boom. That was terrible placement. Put that bad boy here. And that one right there. So right now, oh, look where we hit the brakes. We hit the brakes right on this complete parabolic move that we did from January 17th on this push-up. They're going to fill this. We're going to get a bounce. They might try to fill this back up. They might try to. I like this doji order block that's sitting right here. And even if we come down into it, I would not be surprised that there's some buyers sitting here. Look for a bounce on Google somewhere between 140 to 143. That could be a nice little area, especially that we're at 144 right now. I could see some bears stepping in, trying to put some momentum to get to that downside. But yeah, this momentum has to be strong enough to get through it at the open, and they just continue to dump cycle. Or we have a little bit of news that's coming in, and that starts it. And if we start under it, it might be even lower. We might be breaking the overall trend, which is this line. That could be the case. Let's come up to the weekly. They could be coming just to the bottom of the channel at 135. That could be the case. So there's a lot of storylines in Google in itself. So that's one of the ones that's putting some weight. Let's go over to Tesla. Tesla is another one. We talked about Tesla before. I said I would be bearish. Let me come up to here a little bit. I did a video a while back. I was saying I'll be bearish on Tesla if it gets under the number of 180. It's trying to hold the 186, which was going to be a bullish momentum, which it did. They're trying to take out that gap, but they just could not. So they're coming right back down again. Nice explosion. Oh, I guess I should have played this on Monday. Probably could have made some good pricing money right there. 190. Pulled back, nice little support. Yeah, I don't do as much stocks and options as I did before. Hey, what's going on, Casey? Good morning. All right, I'll knock that out in like 2 seconds. But Tesla is another one that's putting a little bit of weight on NQ and starting to make it dump. Now, Nvidia, I'm gonna cover Nvidia really quick. It is dropping after being at 127, but if you think about it, it's still above my bullish line, so it's well worth where it is right now. But its competitor, I think this is just straight profit taking. AMD is getting its butt whooped. Of course, it is bullish above my line right here. Nice little move, but this is something that I drew. I think I did it as a trade idea inside of trading. I can't remember. I do this all the time. I love looking at charts, so sometimes I'll even write in the notes. Maybe I should start writing notes on the screen. That probably would give me a reason, or at least a note on the lines itself. But anyways, let's move on. Nice little bearish momentum. They're trying to fill through this gap. Didn't fill it. Bomb. And then out of nowhere, their earnings came in. They missed EPS slightly. And then out of nowhere, it's a dump cycle. Profit taking. Yep, who was on the north side of all of this. Let me get rid of this line. North side of the MACD. They tried to push it up, couldn't. He had a bearish divergence that formed here. That should have been a signal right there. And let me get a trend line. right? That, and then that. That's your bearish divergence. So that right there should have been your signal right there. Um, but yeah, nice little pop to the downside. It's down here. I would say if it tests 160, that's probably where you're going to get a bounce. That should be TP3 to the downside. And if anybody carried anything overnight, you should be excited. You should be really excited. All right, let me go ahead and get some of Casey's tickers. He got AFL. Is that Aflac? Yep, Aflac. All right, not the American Football League, but Aflac. All right, this one is going into earnings, so be careful with this one, Casey. I don't like doing too much on earnings. Let's see. Yours is on a daily. Let me go up to the daily. Oh, nice. Nice little structure that's being held right here with this gap. They try to retest it, and they put in a nice engulf in here. You got an entry at 85.82. I would say you're probably at a good point on entry because 84.37 would have been a good key point. Take profit is 91. That would bring us to TP1. No, TP3. Sorry, 90. My bad. 91.98. So yours is a little bit higher, somewhere around here. But yeah, I would say maybe scale out by 90.63. That would probably be a good spot. But this looks good, especially that we're kind of doing a micro trend up. I like it. Buy signals here on the cheat code algo. I would say you probably could get away with $94. $95 you might be able to snatch that with some runners in itself, but a stop loss being that deep at 82.60, can't agree on that. I know cheat code gives 81.24, but I think I'm gonna go with the body of this candle here, or maybe even this. You know what, stick with 82.60. Let's go with the doji order block. Let me match up with you. I like this doji order block. If it breaks through here and gets to the bottom of 82.12, then that means all hell broke loose. But if it gets close to 82.60, it shouldn't even get to 82.60 at all. Like the moment it gets a hint being that close, there should be buyers just sitting in here putting their orders in, and then that should give you that bounce and continue to that upside. All right, so that's not a bad stop loss. It's just so wide, being so far up here, that I would have loved to have that stop loss with 84, maybe 85 as the entry versus 85, 82. That's the only reason why I'm kind of a little bit. But overall, looks good. You just need this thing to curl up. The MACD's already started to party a little bit. You just need the stochastic to follow suit, and it probably could pin to the upside. If we look at the weekly, you'll see that the party been started and it's trying to stay up in that level. If the week closed bullish, the way I think it's probably going to do is north of 85, maybe around the 86 level, you're probably going to be somewhere next week to the end of February will be at 89. That's what it looks like, especially with its momentum of 42 cents here, 94 cents here, $1.63 here. So you're talking about maybe about $1 movement per week. So you want $1 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And your entry, you're looking, yeah, I would say get to 89 in 4 weeks, $1 a week, something like that. All right, that's that one. And he has AZO. Yeah, I got to run to go drop my son to school, so I won't be on too long. Oh, but Friday I might do some more live trading. We might get into some more of that, so keep an eye out for that. All right, AZO, AutoZone. This one, I know it's very expensive, folks. I know. But Casey likes his low float stocks. And if we go down to here, the only reason it's so pricey is because they only have 17 million shares float. So when it moves and it's going to make money, but it's a double-edged sword when trading. Okay, so keep that in mind. 2669 would have been a great entry for this one. But you have 2859, boom. 28.59, somewhere around here. Okay, so I would say not a bad price. I like the entry. It should hold the TP1 and continue to get to TP2. I don't know about the 3,300 though. That's a deep one. That's a really, really deep one. But you do have a very strong imbalance that's holding you up. I like this imbalance here. Boom, boom, right? I love this imbalance here. As long as this imbalance is holding, you should be good. And then they slid in this of an imbalance right here. So I would say you got a stop loss of 2600. I would say this thing breaks 2700, run for the hills, because if it gets under the 2700, it's probably going to break through 2069, and you're going to give up some of this candle. I get that's why you went with that stop loss, but I think this imbalance that's here, that's more of your friend than this one. This one too. This one's another one. Another imbalance that's sitting right here. You could even go with a stop loss if you want to be super tight. 2769. Let me see. Where's your stop again? 27. Yeah, 2769. Somewhere around here. That's a good supporter. If this thing can put in another daily imbalance where they don't even give up a lot and then they still continue up, this thing can go vertical. This thing can go vertical really, really fast. All right. So just keep that in mind. We'll revisit this maybe tomorrow or Friday, and we'll see where this sits, because this one's probably the one that's going to try to take off, especially their earnings is coming up and they just made new higher highs after making what looks like all-time highs. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is trying to find a way to get vertical, and I think your entry at 2859 can have a stop of 2766, and that will be more of a short swing than a long swing. That probably will be something that I would aim with AZO. Okay. Yeah, that's it. No, let me go ahead and run out of here. I gotta go take the little one over there. Oh, actually, let me get to take profit. Let me see what the weekly looks like before I get out of here. Okay, so this is what you could do, Casey. Right? Get a short swing, because I think it's going to be pushing up right now, like for the moment. Use the cash from the short swing, maybe get up into that 2900 level. Have a longer swing at that 33, 34 level, and you probably could use the cash to add more in pullbacks that you use with the short swing. That's probably one way of doing it. But with the weekly looking like this and making all-time highs, I could imagine that AZO is going to aim for that 3400, 33, 3400. All right, as long as it doesn't break trend lines, you should be good. And plus, people are going to run away from tech. I would think so. They're going to cash out their profits, and they're going to look for something stable like an AZO. That I think they pay dividends too. Don't AZO pay dividends? No, they do not pay dividends. I guess it's all stock appreciation. Well, as long as you have a low float like that, it should lean to stock appreciation anyways. All right, on that note, no, you're very welcome. No problem. All right, so this is the show. You already know I pretty much do this every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I try to stay consistent at 7 a.m. Today I actually made it in a very long time, but I try to get as much information out to the public as much as possible. I do have a life as well, so life kind of kicks my butt. Got the kids, got to work, the whole nine. But yeah, go ahead down below, follow the Instagram and the Twitter, or X, or whatever Elon wants to call it. Maybe you're going to find a way to spell it as sexy as like his car. Go ahead and follow me there. Also, I have my trading community, cheat code. Go ahead and join us. If you feel like you're trading alone and you don't want to do it by yourself, we got your back. We have fun, we make money, we lose money sometimes, but at the end of the day, we try to stay as profitable as possible. And also, if you are watching on YouTube, by all means, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. That way the algorithms does its job. And the rocket, all my TradingView viewers, right? TradingView viewers, right? Go ahead and hit the rocket right now. Follow me on TradingView, JD the Great, as well. I thank you all for having the time and moment to check out this video, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully here at 7 a.m. And I bid you fun farewell. Have a great day, my neighbors. Later.